Hey guys, so 2020 has finally come to a close, or at least it will in like a week. That year that we thought would be double natural 20s, but actually the D20s were made out of mimics and it sucks. Finally in the books, I suppose, really quickly before I go any further, whatever holiday you are celebrating currently, as I record this on Christmas Eve and it will go live Christmas Day, happy that one. Whether you're just like spending time safely, you better be with your family, or like hanging out with friends. In my case, we're going to play a lot of Halo, and I'm very excited for that. I wish all of you peace, prosperity, and like the ability to put shit down for a little while, because this year has been a monster for a lot of us. Also, just gonna go ahead and say it now. I've been watching The Mandalorian, and Cara Dune makes me wonder if I would look good with the undercut. So we're kind of like trying it here. If I look dumb, please let me know. Anyway, 2020, of course, crazy year. I personally have had a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of in the middles, but BDG has moved forward inexorably on farther and farther, and it's made me think about, well, it's time to learn how to do this as a business, and no longer can I just rely on the notion that I'm good at Pathfinder to carry me the entire way to being a full-time dude on YouTube, though we're basically there now. As of this moment, I only work one shift a week at Chipotle. I'm very proud to say that I'm a professional DM, professional YouTube guy, professional Pathfinder build-a-mancer, and I have each and every one of you to thank. So right quick, here's that fist bump. Y'all are great. I have enjoyed meeting so many of you. The kind words, especially at like Thanksgiving, when people are showing up calling me the Tommy. That one's still a little imposter syndrome-y. And it's time for that next big push. I want to do more cool stuff at BDG. I want to make quality videos, quantity videos, and videos that will bring that thing I love to all of y'all. So, time to announce some changes. First things first, what is a smaller version of elephant in the room? The smaller than the elephant in the room, I guess, is after much debate, much internal dialogue, much talking to friends who are more business aligned than myself, I have made the decision that beginning in January 2021, we are going to raise the minimum amount one can pledge on Patreon to Black Dragon Gaming to receive reward from $1 to $3. If you're already on Patreon on the Discord, or you check your Patreon notifications, you are aware of this, but I have the sneaking suspicion there are a lot of you who show up, put a buck in a jar, and then mute the server and dip. Which is totally fine and totally valid, and like, it's on those backs that BDG has moved forward. I appreciate all of it. However, one can only have so many big patrons and big patron games in one's rotation before like critical mass happens, and I want to make sure that I'm putting out the best quality content, both for my patrons who like to die to monsters and games with me, and y'all who are just watching videos, since adding an extra, like, here are 5 folks who I'm going to GM for takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of spoons, and also I now currently have games 7 days a week, so achievement unlocked. The logical conclusion seems to be to bring the floor up from $1 to $3. What we're going to do is the tier reward for at $1, get in the Discord, at $2, get the third-party stuff. Just going to do this in such a way that $3 gets you both of them. Now, like I just said, I'm cognizant of the fact that y'all are the giants upon whose shoulders I stand. I'm able to spend so much time playing games because y'all help me to do so. And though this feels necessary to do, to help make the content that I'm doing without charge like 10, 15, 20 bucks for the Google Sheet access, which a lot of people have suggested I do, if you cannot afford a $1 or $2 uptick and you are on Patreon now, rather than coming up with some new thing to grandfather everybody in, or like, here is a very easy tier 1/2 kind of thing I can give you, hooray. Rather, I would like to just treat all of you in the exact same way that I treat my high tier patrons. That is to say, if you just can't afford it, if that extra buck is life or death for you, and I understand that truly sometimes that is the case, please just reach out to me, let me know you're good. For everybody else, these changes will take place beginning January 1st, so just be aware come 2021. On that note, I hereby also pledge to prevent myself Although I know I'm separated from them by what, like 5, 6, 7 zeros. I don't even. That amount of wealth is obscene, and I think it's stupid to separate myself from people who are just out here on the internet trying to get your money. I hereby pledge in 2021, and I've already made these changes now, to be active within the Black Dragon Disciples server, to talk to folks, to hang out when I have time. I won't always have the spoons. I don't know how much of y'all know about mental health things, but I'm currently undergoing EMDR therapy, which TLDR means I'm voluntarily taking a boatload of wisdom damage to build my brain back better. So some days, y'all, I just ain't got it. With that in mind, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I think it's so cool that BDG has helped me meet people from all over the planet. I come from a very small town in Missouri. Never did I ever think I would make a friend who's Croatian, right? I had to look up on a map where that was, hey Sarl, to say nothing of folks just like all over the continental United States and beyond. And so yes, being social with y'all, the least I can do for y'all helping support me getting my ass out of the service industry. And speaking of things on Patreon, as of January 2021, we are going to slash, burn, and re-up entirely the Patreon goals because some of them were either long accomplished, Doomsday Dawn, support from Paizo, not really thought out from a business vein, lots of third-party content when I have to GM a bunch. I had one of my patrons tell me recently that now that we've crossed over that what comes next mark on Patreon, it's like we've finished level 1 and we're starting level 2. All of the previous Patreon goals that we've already beaten will be rewritten in a more like thought out and logical way now that I kind of have a more idea of what the business looks like and what is actually realistic to put out. More on that soon. Y'all will see it, as well as higher tiers. Get me here, we do this. That will help me put out more videos per week. That will help me find an editor who is not a random person from some college somewhere who's looking for a little bit of extra work, someone who I can have a back and forth with like on a permanent basis, which turns out is very expensive, but I want to make high quality, high quantity videos. Not as much as we did back in the day. I ain't got the time. I can't put out that many videos in a week. I will explode. But with that in mind, now that I'm down to this many shifts in toxic service industry and this many, well, I put like triple guac on my bowls. Let me be clear. I have the ability to do that, and so this is what we do. We like the guac here. And therefore, I do have time in my schedule to put out another video per week. What that will be about will probably vary because I can only do the one. The patron requests will come first. Things like the Green Martian Forgotten Race Review, Ecology of the Oni, as well as other series I've been working on. I forgot Aslant in Lost Lands of Golarion, as well as things in like the 2nd edition lore, 1st edition lore, so on and so forth, and the TTRPG Zeitgeist, if there are things that, you know, I feel like talking about or y'all want me to critique someone's video. I know starting in 2021, I want to make a video about identifying the problems of the 2nd edition adventure paths and how we can alter them in our campaigns in such a way that they are not just about the same commercial value as going to the Walmart, buying the paper shredder, taking the character sheet, and doing this. Because they look real fun. It's just some attention to detail, I feel like, is required. And let's actually talk about that, right? Rather than me just complaining about it and min-maxing for fun and profit. I guess what can I say except it's clear to me that when a much bigger channel says I'm doing good at things, that lights the fire under my ass to not just be sad boy about the TBKs that are happening and talk about them, identify what I think is wrong, ascend the professional GM title that I have earned with the help of all of y'all. Speaking of professional GM, lots of you have asked me why like Wrath of the Righteous or other various live plays that we did not come to fruition. Frankly, that's because folks are paying me to run a game for them. They are not professional actors. They are not a part of Black Dragon Gaming on that side. Rather, right, these are folks paying for a service. And so henceforth, I will only, in case you hadn't figured it out with context clues, I will only be putting out one actual play of an adventure path at any one time. Right now, that's Kingmaker. I'm very invested in that one. We're like 60 sessions on. That's the one I want to show to all of you. With that in mind, half of the group has elected to take a mental health break because 2020 is rude. So I have a bunch of back episodes yet to put up. But when those run out, There will be a bit of a break in content before we get there. We'll get there when we get there. Suppose also on the subject of Kingmaker, to address another thing I wanted to talk about, the CRPG Kingmaker and our LG run, if you will. I want to stick a fork in that one. I want to be super done with it. If you didn't know, now you know. Lucia and I aren't together anymore. And it's kind of painful to go back, watch those videos, edit through them as the relationship slowly does this. And even if that was still a thing I was in, those videos aren't great for my algorithm. They don't get a whole heck of a lot of views. They take a lot of time. What originally was just, oh, well, this group's not playing anymore, I'm going to buy this CRPG to cope, and then rapidly turned into what me and my partner did on our times when it was just she and I, and then like something that became like a repetitive but not useful habit, and not the best for the channel. So that's all done. Look at that. You see that? That's a picture of the Lantern King when he gets hit with a frigid touch and dies. Cold ball is cold. Does that mean the end of video games on BDG? Maybe. I know one thing I've learned recently is that video games for me, it's self-care. That time is sacred. I don't want to be burning spoons while also doing that. Now, I did pledge into the Wrath of the Righteous beta. I will probably still do that on Twitch. And from there, the only time I will be playing video games in a come watch me do it sense will be there, no longer on YouTube, unless all of y'all just decide you really want that. Be vocal about it and we can make it happen. Till then, on to bigger and brighter things. Speaking of which, last thing I wanted to announce before we go any further, and it's not quite done yet, but it's close enough to the mark that I think I'll go ahead and just get out there with it. I have partnered with some of my very best friends, the found family that I have acquired over the pandemic and meeting a bunch of people online, and I have joined them for a glorious Dungeons and Dragons podcast, specifically the Iron Gods Adventure. My friends and I are going to try to crack into that, and while present day we're like 75% of the way done with the editing process for the first couple of episodes, waiting on character art, I am more than proud to announce my affiliation with DDoS the Dragon. That will be uploaded on your iTunes, your Spotify, your things of that nature. Links will abound, and they'll certainly abound on BDG's socials, because I'm just fucking proud of it, and all of them. Y'all have no idea how much bullshit we went through trying to get this project off the ground. It is as dumb as 2020 was. But, of course, it has a Patreon. Its Patreon does not dump to me. Its Patreon dumps to the guy who's doing the vast majority of the editing of it. One of my very best friends on planet Earth. You might have seen him on the channel. We were talking about him in the Discord, actually, just like 20 minutes ago. And I really want this dude to be able to eat food and also play the fun thing. So there is a link down in the description to DDoS the Dragon's Patreon if you want to hear a bunch of people play alchemists and just throw bombs at things. That's how to make it happen. But that's all I got for today. I, again, just thank you guys so much for your support. As I said when we did the Doomsday Dawn thing, when I very first thought, what if I tried to do this, like, for realsies? What would that be like? I, again, feel that sensation of I'm going to run to the cliff and do this, and I hope y'all catch me. I'm quite confident. I forget that there are, in fact, bigger ponds than my own, but my pond is full of very cool people who have been great over the years supporting us, supporting me, and, like, helping me have truly the coolest job on planet Earth, keeping me pandemic-proof. And for that, I am eternally, ever more grateful. New things on the horizon. Stay tuned, y'all. Till then, I'll see you next time.